It was an amazing experience.
Tell us about it.
So that is only, well, that's my most recent trip that I took, which was planned from just inception to end, from the thought to the very last moment by Judith and Howard. It was a very special trip for me because it was a trip that I took with my youngest daughter. As you can see, she was only 12 at
Mm-hmm.
the time, turning 13. And I wanted to do something special for her coming into the teenage years. And I had always also wanted to go to Europe. I'd never been. So, I talked to Howard and Judith about it and told them what I was looking for. Someone had told me about the European cruise. It so happened that they had already themselves experienced it. So, we launched into planning that. It was just incredible. And what made it, like, it was a hassle-free trip for me, as
Yes.
are all my trips that are
Yes.
planned with Howard and Judith,
Yes.
because I guarantee you everything that you have heard from them, everything we heard from Merlene, everything that's represented on their site is true.
Yes.
When you talk about accessibility, I was in Barcelona, which with a 6 hour difference,
Mm-hmm.
and Howard was messaging me, your pickup is outside. I'm like, what are you doing up? You know what I mean? we
Yeah.
we got to the airport, and because I had a change in flight when we first landed,
Mm-hmm.
um the pickup time was a little bit off.
Mm-hmm.
And I messaged him. He responded right away. And it didn't occur to me at the time that, like, the time difference hadn't clicked at the time,
Yeah.
but it was something like 3 o'clock in the morning for him.
Wow.
And I was messaging him to say, I'm not quite sure what to do. And within like half an hour, I was in touch with through his doing, I was in touch with the transportation agency. We had rearranged for another time. I was taken care of through them, even from afar. Like, they kept in touch with me. Everything okay? How's the trip going? Everything good all the time. But it wasn't particular to only this trip. This is how they operate all the
Mm-hmm.
time. You know, when I tell them what I want, they listen, they go away, they come back with options, and then they make it happen. Listen, I am a doer of things myself,
Yeah.
and I could not foresee me being able to plan every aspect of that trip, and for it to have flowed as smoothly as it did on my
Right.
own. I couldn't do it.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I heard Merlin say before, she used to, like, she would usually book her own trips and stuff. I would normally do that. I would book my flight here, book my flight there if we're going to, a hotel, nothing too far away. But ever since we took our first vacation, and I've had various types of vacations booked through Howard and Judith. I've had the girls' trip, I've had the individual trip,
Mm-hmm.
I've had the family trip, and my family is a big family. We're a
Mm-hmm.
family of five.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had this trip with just us two girls.
Yes.
Like, it's very important for the details to be taken care of. And
Mm-hmm.
if it's not your thing, you can easily miss it.
True.
They take care of everything. They take care of the big part of the trip. They take care of the transportation, the hotels, um, down to the excursions. And that
Yeah.
was one thing that was very important for me too, to particularly on this trip, to have that level of security for when
Yes.
I went out there.
Wow.
And they were able to provide me with a very reliable, safe
Mm-hmm.
option in terms of booking excursions, and like, getting all my confirmations, everything laid out, where you're going to meet, who's taking you, and all of that. It was all done. And
Yeah.
the other thing I have to mention is one important thing, which, as I mentioned, as a large family, particularly when you're traveling together, it costs a lot of money,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the way they do it in terms of planning ahead, having the payment plans, and so on, every trip that I've ever gone on, and we've been booking with them for maybe 8, 9 years now, before we leave on that vacation, it's all paid for.